lot easier to get off when it's still wet. But it just makes you say, is it going to be dry?
How dry is it in the middle? Yeah.
Because if you're just eyeballing it to what looks good,
yeah, essentially, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And then let's say, you know, I'm like 16.
Yeah, let's say that.
So I can come here. Okay, and I'm gonna come from here.
Mark that.
And then I'm gonna pull my square out and my pencil.
Ouch.
And I have a center line there. I have another center line here. Another one right here.
That's right. Yeah, because
all you're looking is for center lines.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you're cutting it by hand, then you got to figure out where everything's going to be. But at this point, you're going to have the center of a pin here.
Yeah, essentially like that.
This one's going to come out. Oh, wrong. This way. So there's a half pin. Here's one. Here's another. I'm doing that wrong. Those are the centers of pins. And make sure you skip your center line.
But with the saw, I mean with the tools, I really don't need to worry about, essentially.
Right. Yeah, and this would be waste. This is waste, waste, waste. If you're cutting, because you're cutting your tails. Waste, waste.
Yeah.
This is goes from here. It's waste. Right, that's toward the outside, like that.
What are we doing, Jeff? We are re-gluing. My joint wasn't tight enough before, so now got a good joint going here.
All right.
I'm gonna have to put a clamp on there, I guess. Gotta wait to catch.
You gotta hold the little knob as you're cranking back here. And then it'll catch.
There we go. But I think that was my problem.
If this is out too far, you gotta spin it all the way back. I don't think it caught.
Oh, no. See how this gap right here forms? I gotta get a clamp. I'll be back with a clamp.
You got it. I'm gonna fix this for you real quick. Hello, Zach. What are we doing?
That with regular clamps.
All right.
Because you guys have it a little full.
We got a monopoly on them, yeah. We have no idea what the hell we're doing.
It is 14 and a half, right?
Yeah, right, 14 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check the documents. 14 and a half. 13 and 3/8. We're getting there. It's 14 and a half. I just triple checked.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm documenting, Steve. I'm gonna make a video so all these people can share some memories from school here. That's for the rails, the rails and stiles.
I'm not sure what to, but I just know those are right. She's got the right measurement. I'll show you.
She can show you on here.
I can show you on here, just not what it's called.
Those plants behind you, fit the middle here, you think?
Yep.
Is this one your shelf?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what it is.
It's the shelf inside.
I thought it was the mine.
Oh, is this look good or what?
You haven't cut your edge off yet.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got room for that 15.
All right.
Just look.
You got plenty of
16 and a
And it's really 13 and something.
Yeah. See how the
I went
shelves are?
We're getting there, slowly but surely.
What?
Paparazzi.
So here we have, you know, he's milled his pieces up to size, and he's got his triangles right on the front here. And now I see people keep doing these triangles for him. The point of the triangles is to know the left, right, inside, outside, up, down. And if I put a triangle right here and a triangle right there, that's not actually, that's only helping me in one direction. I still don't know what's inside, what's out, like, it doesn't really help like that. So you're splitting it in half, and the same with the case top and bottom. Can you show everyone your, so top the triangle there, bottom there. So it's the same. So when I move this out, and we make a box out of it, it makes one triangle. That's the point. You're always making one triangle with parts that are coming together. And maybe eventually we'll rip this out, make things shorter, but for now, this is the parts we're working with. Everything's the same width, the same thickness, and the lengths are determined on the plans. So one thing we got to do is run rabbets in the back. And you can do that before, and I recommend to do that before you cut your dovetails. So those, and you don't need to do stuff like this, but I like to just do something visual to help me indicate, I know I'm putting a rabbet back. I'm going to do the same thing down here. And I know that this, so not only is my triangle telling me this is the inside, I can now look and say I've drawn the rabbet where the rabbet goes on the inside of my case. Then I know I'm running a groove about here and here. So I know I'm on the top divider, and the bottom divider is through tenons. That's going to be about there. And they're going all the way through, so I'm going to put this on the other side. Epoxy that. Looks nice. And here. Whether it's, plus or minus an inch. The point is, I know that if I just see this, I'm looking at the outside of my case right now. Things like that. And that's pretty much everything you need to put. I mean, you don't really need to put where you're putting dovetails. That's kind of the obvious part. I mean, you can if you want, but then it's just a lot of lines interfering with that. So I like to always do those steps before I get too deep into my project. Basically when my parts are milled. And again, top and bottom, not much going on there. But when we get to more complex components like cases with drawers inside of it, or little dividers that go halfway through, these little marks can just be they're sort of dummy proof, and you're standing over the table saw about to make that cut, and you're like, okay, is this the inside or outside of the case? So now, at this point, he can run his rabbet now or later, but you can go to the router table and do a stopped groove. And it's different than the dado stack, because that's a very easy way to set a fence. You run it the whole way through. If we were to run, so we have a groove on the inside of here. This would be against our fence at the table saw. We'd rip it through, and we would have to ID a ½ inch before so it doesn't go through. So we turn the saw off, wait till it stops, pull this away. Then, for this, we can't run it from that same fence over. This is the top. We need to bring it from the other side. So we can bring it through the back and then stop it again, but we need to reset the fence. So then we're dealing with kind of two different dimensions, and when you put a divider in there, maybe it's a little wonky. So how can we do this where we can reference off the same edge, just the top? And that's where the router table is. Let's go downstairs. There used to be straight cutters. You can still find those at Lowe's. These are kind of the more high-end cutters. I got it in the router, so I'm going to show you one right now. I just got a bunch ordered for us because I got we've had 1/4 inch wide cutters and ½ inch wide, and that comes into play for chair classes. But us as makers, maybe sometimes we need a groove that's 7/16 wide, so you can rip it on something that's, those unusual numbers. Basically, I bought all those bits. And these are sharp, so careful when you pull them out. And it's the double fluted. Sometimes they can be triple fluted, but the flute is that stripe on the outside, sort of like a barbershop. What is it called? Barbershop pole? Sure, called. Barbershop bar, it's called. And these cut, and sort of like the outsides of the wings of a brad point bit, right? So they cut, but when it's called an upcut bit, it's because it pulls the chips away from your material. So when it cuts into the wood, and we go deeper and deeper, it's pulling those chips out. So it's going to be pushing it down.
Yeah, router bits are always named orientation-wise by being in a face-down router.
Right.
So when you put it in here, this is actually pulling the chips down, not up.
Exactly. So it's, the router bits are just inherently confusing. Which way feed the direction, so it just takes practice. But we have this double flute, it's pulling the chips away, so it's doing two things. It's creating less heat, so you get a really clean cut. But the really nice thing, the reason woodworkers use this, because these are originally from machinists. And they sort of redesigned them for wood. So you have up-cut bits and down-cut bits. The exit, if we were to do a through joinery piece, is actually cleaner than the entry. So you're able to go fully through on a piece and it looks super clean. So that's the benefit of the spiral bit, the up-cut spiral bit. Now that being said, when you make a cut and the entry, it's these little hairs of wood you gotta clean up. I mean, it's especially when they're sharp like this. I mean, this is gonna be brand new for a long time. Any other questions about this? Cool. Yeah, that's good. These router tables I would consider medium quality router tables. They have a lot of attachments, a lot of parts going on, but they're not the strongest, which is why when we set our fence, we always clamp it down again. And I brought, there's these two fences behind this piece of MDF. You can open and close it. It's not totally parallel. So I tacked down a piece of MDF which is super straight, super true, so we can run against it. We're not going to get any skipping when we run that groove. And I double-sided taped it, and then I took a clamp and I just sort of reinforced it down the line, that kind of thing. And that's all you got to do. So that's there. Then where's my Then I had to determine where my half-inch start and stops are for when I'm feeding my material into this. So on those flutes, the two flutes are the widest point of a spiral bit. So if I turn this, and I'm not turning it where the cutter is because that's going to hurt me, it's more narrow right here. So I want to find the widest point, and I kind of approximate it. And I got to get in the way for a second, but raise this a little. And to first find where I put the fence, I had the bit like that at the widest point here, and I measured from this edge over there 3 9/16, which is on the plans, right? That's the top of our groove. Then down from there, that's my 3/8. This is a 3/8 bit, so we got to do one cut. Then I'll turn it this way, and go. There it is. So we can see when I bud this against there, I have a little line right there that says end of bit, or edge of bit, right side basically. Then I just took a square, and I took this out of here, measured a half inch over, and drew that line up. And I know I need to stop my board when I am, let me grab the correct piece. Is that this one? Right here. This one. It's gonna be here. You feed this through, running against your fence, and then I know that when the edge of my board hits that half-inch mark, I stop and turn it off. And that's a half-inch before that's gonna come all the way through.
Oh.
Right? So then I found this side of the flute, measured a half-inch over. That's what this other long line is. Because for the other side, because remember, we want to reference off the same side. Are you with me? Okay. And so I still have, this is where my groove's going, and I have a stopper block here because this is the scarier cut. But it's way safer than table saw. Thank you. You'd set your height, and it's not going to be this high.
No.
But I can, and I've just sort of calculated this, just sort of discovering where I need to bring my piece down. But I have it against the fence here, the MDF fence, and this piece of pine right here. And you bring it down, usually like this, into your material, and you see it's matching on that half-inch line right there. So I know that at the widest point of that bit, it's a half-inch further than that from the edge of my board. I bring it down, and I take my push pad, and I follow all the way through, because it comes out the back. That's the back of our board. That's where our rabbet is. You can have the rabbet in already. You don't need to do this first. It doesn't matter which one you do first. And you sneak up on it. I would recommend 1/8 inch cuts at a time, so maybe 2 or 3 passes. So you really, and that's how you can get this really gentle. If this is only popping an 1/8 inch up, you're gonna feel, it's gonna want to be pushing the board up, but it's not much of a cut. It's super sharp. I mean, it's, like a ton of people did it yesterday. So it's just about getting that feeling down. And I'm not putting my fingers here. That's not very safe. I'm over here. I bring it down, and then I keep it held down. Get this on, push it through. I'm just focusing on, make sure I'm against my fence. Get a super clean, straight cut. And you would do it to both. Now that being said, you could put a block up here for your other side, but I just put a line. I'm just matching to that line because I'm gonna have to take this on and off. And if you look here, we've indicated exactly where we want to put that. So it's just about this. It's machine setup. I did this with Logan and Chloe yesterday for like an hour. And they were just getting into it and figuring it out. Yes, because here you'll need the space to be able to, for the other piece, come right into it, then stop.
And then stop at that moment.
And then you'll raise it again, and you kind of go back and forth with it. But it's close enough. We have enough wiggle room where, if you're off by a hair here,
16.
it doesn't really matter. You'll fit your divider accordingly. So that's that. Let's do it.
Let's let them
Okay.
wind up.
Heard it compress, keep on going, yeah. All the way through,
It's a half an inch from this side.
So now, let's take a look, show everybody.
Yeah.
And you can see, you see that, especially on ash, on open pore wood. So, but we're going to create a shoulder on that divider anyway.
That tore your ash up.
Clean it up. And now, since you have that already set up, raise it first, and that can be to 5/16, so that can be. That was a pretty shallow cut. You might need to do 3. I don't know. You measure it.
Bring it up a little more. Oh,
It was half the gap.
Bold adjustments.
put it in the third.
Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. And do it.
Just want to say, people, I love pizza. That was fun. Just so you know.
This thing is too fast, too slow.
No, routers you can move pretty quick, and it's still on the lowest speed. The only thing to stay aware of is a little bit of that, but that blowout doesn't matter when you have a rabbit
going in
it's
there,
going to
yeah.
disappear. So even if you had your rabbit first, you're probably going to get barely any blowout.
How can you not do that?
You would put another piece of wood right here. You basically a sacrificial piece of wood, or you would purposely mill this too long, knowing you could rip it off.
Okay.
And as we've noticed, a lot of this wood is moving a lot. There's a lot of, and so when it comes to cutting, keeping that on top of the bit, really making sure that plunge is even. That's
Yeah,
important.
so yep.
All that's doing is preventing it from totally going down. But if you use a softer wood like walnut, cherry, it's going to dent your wood. You don't want to, you don't want to get in the habit of that. So we can keep watching it, but it's the same thing over and
Okay.
over.
No, this is hard.
Move it along, people.
Say it once.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
you try to clean that up in like a really oddly satisfying way, you know what I mean?